Gulf of America. Law changes proposed in Tallahassee. Greetings, our Frederick Riddle here with another Christian news and views. By the way, this is episode 78. And today we're looking at several different news items, so I want to get right into it. We're looking at the Gulf of America. President Trump has renamed the Gulf of America. Completely legal, completely within the Constitution. There's somebody out there, I'm sure they'll say it's not, but it is. Um, so I'm going to start reading this right off the bat because I got several different things to cover today. Senate Republican on Tuesday filed a bill that combs through state laws and would replace references to the Gulf of Mexico with the Gulf of America after President Donald Trump issued an executive order to rename the Gulf. Senator Nick, and I'm going to probably mispronounce this name, I'm going to give it my best try, DeSeglie. That's capital D-I, capital C-E-G-L-I-E. So it's DeSeglie. He's a Republican from Indian Rocks Beach. He filed a 70-page bill for consideration during the legislative session that will start March 4th. And the Senate president also, he came on and supported it. And then on top of that, a representative, another Republican from Miami, filed a bill that would require state agencies to update geographic materials to reflect the Gulf of America name. This bill would require county school boards and charter school boards to buy instructional materials and library materials that reflect the change. Now, I can see this being history books, geography books, maps, all sorts of different things that you use in teaching. So, moving on here, we find that this Governor DeSantis has already used it in one storm. He mentioned it as an area of low pressure moving across the Gulf of America. So there's different things that are already happening as a result of this renaming. But there's still state laws that actually have to be changed to make a difference. And so the Gulf of, for the former Gulf of Mexico, now the Gulf of America, spans approximately 1,700 miles along the United States coastline. So, of which 770 miles are located along the Florida coast. That's a pretty hefty percent. It said Trump's executive order directed the Secretary of the U.S. Department of the Interior to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America in order to recognize the importance of the body of water to the United States. And as an example of the changes that would be made by some of these bills, the boundaries of Gulffront counties from Escambia to Collier include references to the Gulf of Mexico. They would be changed to the Gulf of America. Other references will also have to go through the same idea. Different laws have to be changed. The one law expresses intent for the Department of Environmental Protection to establish coastal construction control lines on a county basis along the sand beaches of the state, funding on the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, or the Straits of Florida. So that would be changed to Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of America, or the Straits of Florida. And so, here's my opinion on that. While the name change has little impact on how other countries view that body of water, it does identify with the United States, at least symbolically. Other countries may choose to follow us. It's up to them whether they follow us or not. It's going to change people's perception in some way, even over there in other countries, simply because it's going to work its way through the literature and everything else. And so people will become aware of it and start referring to it, especially if they want to do business with America. You might want to stroke the fur, so to speak, pat the back, pat them on the head, pat them on the back, make the United States happy. And so you refer to the Gulf of America. That's going to be pleasing to Americans. And it's going to be pleasing to Americans not only because of other countries. We're going to be looking at it differently. Here in the United States, we're going to be looking at it, and like I said, symbolically. And we'll think about it. But listen to this one here. One of the questions I ask is, will it have financial or monetary impact? That remains to be seen. But I see it, I guess, akin to the tag that you often see on products saying, Made in America. It's more than a tag. That has influenced Americans in how they buy. Some people will only buy products that are made in America. Not a bad idea, by the way. And that has helped our own industries. I wouldn't mind seeing that strengthened. And, by the way, the Gulf of America may have an impact like that. It's hard to tell at this point in time how extensive this is going to be, but in my own mind, my own imagination, I see it as being a morale booster. It's just like Made in America, it strokes our pride a little bit. The Gulf of America is going to stroke it as well. And our national sense of pride is therefore enlarged and can be a booster to self-awareness and in our productivity and even in our shopping. As I've already referred to, I think I'm not going to be the only one that ties it to Made in America. So I think it is a good thing. Now, moving on. We got more to cover here. We have on the front page here, excuse all the noise. Papers are not made to be quiet. Here we have, and I want to show you this. So, we have right up here, right here. So you see that? And let's bring that over. There we go. They're going to be to comply with deportation. That's going to be school districts and things of this nature. Down below, you also have lawmakers. Let's bring that over here. There we are. Lawmakers, and they're going to tee up Florida's immigration list plan. So we're going to look at those two things. I'm kind of combining the two of them, simply because they talk about the same idea, the immigration. So I'm going to read both, and then I'll give my opinion. Let's see here. So day one of Donald Trump's second presidency, he signed executive orders they called for the mass deportation of millions of illegal immigrants across the country. By the way, this is, well, no, it's not Associated Press, just a staff writer, so it's a newspaper. But they quoted that. Obviously, I don't know if they're disputing it or not, but there are millions of illegal immigrants, so I'm not sure what they're trying to point out here. But just 2 days later, a Justice Department memo ordered investigations into state and local officials. This is here in Florida. Announcing those who don't follow suit will face prosecution. For DeSoto County, an agricultural district with one of the highest populations of immigrant workers in Florida, some officials said they are still unsure of how to meet Trump's orders. And then it talks about the District of DeSoto County. And they are actually claiming they're going to cooperate with law enforcement 100%. Though they don't really specify what level that is going to be at. Currently, a disagreement between the Florida Senate and Governor Ron DeSantis on passing the Trump Act, which DeSantis called window dressing and toothless. This let's see. Oh, I went too far. Okay. Uh, leaves immigration and deportation policies up in the air for local officials to follow. So there's some kind of uh, problem here with all this as far as this is going on. There's debate, but they're trying to come up with a way of meeting this. It's it's almost we're in an instant type of thing here, and so the executive order has been issued, and now they're scrambling to do things, and so I'll stop there as far as explaining things, but I'll get to that in a minute more so, because I want to cover this other one too. Um, State legislators' third special session could create a state board of immigration enforcement. Florida's lawmakers on Tuesday launched a third special session aimed at increasing enforcement of illegal immigration, putting aside an intra-party clash with Governor Ron DeSantis over plans to help carry out one of President Donald Trump's top priorities, which I just referred to. And so now we go to page page 9. Oh, yeah, correct? Yes, page 9. And so this one here, we have here, these are different things that have taken place. Part of a new plan that is being launched, or a bill actually for a plan, would create a state board of immigration enforcement made up of the governor, agricultural commissioner, attorney general, and state chief financial officer. The board would coordinate immigration enforcement activities with federal officials and dole out $250 million in grants to local law enforcement agencies to assist federal enforcement efforts. Decisions made by the board would have to be unanimous. The requirement for unanimity, which Senate President Ben Albritton called a consensus model, coincides with a reshuffling of the Florida cabinet. And moving on, this is just a better model. It's going to work better. That's part of the consensus building process. This is a story of ideas, and what we have assembled are what we believe are the best ideas to be able to support President Trump and his efforts to work on illegal immigration in this country. And then later on, another Senate bill, this sponsored Joe Reuters, a Sarasota Republican, who is a strong Trump ally, downplayed the significance of the proposed change. President Trump has already closed the borders. There's no need for the political type events like that anymore, and so it's completely irrelevant. Now it's about making sure we do what's making sure. Wait a minute, let me read that again. Now it's about making sure we do what's right under what President Trump wants in coordination, collaboration. Everything that we do in this bill is working with them. That's the Trump administration. The measure would require sheriffs and county jail administrators to cooperate with federal immigration officials and participate in what is known as the 287G program and report undocumented immigrants to federal authorities. The bill would impose $5,000 fines and suspension from office for county or municipal officials who refuse to comply with immigration detainers issued by a federal agency. The proposal also would increase penalties and require pretrial detention for undocumented immigrants who commit forcible felonies, something already required for other serious violent crimes. A separate bill would make it a state crime to be in the country illegally and would impose a death penalty on undocumented immigrants who commit murder or rape children. And, House Speaker Daniel Perez, a Republican from Miami, said Tuesday that the Uh, Legislation was a compromise with DeSantis that was in line with President Trump's vision to solve the crisis of illegal immigration. We are going to have an open line of communication with the federal government. We have put money aside to help with the illegal immigration crisis that we have. The truth is that we have made Florida a safer place by coming to an agreement on this bill. So that's actually an important step here. Basically, that's it as far as those articles are concerned. One of the things you might have wondered about at this point is looks like they might have some pain, what I call the pain factor. So there is going to be pain. In my view, this pain has, and will be caused by the liberal pushback, the left. They're the ones who made it easy in the first place for illegals to enter the country. So now those illegals that come in, have established themselves, may have jobs. There's unfortunately a lot of jobs out there that illegals can have, and those who hire them are complicit in it, and they hide that fact from the government and so forth to save a buck or two. I don't know the difference between the pay, but the thing is, you don't violate the law just to save yourself some money. But that's what they're doing. They are the ones who tried to protect them and used every trick in the book to delay or stop deportation. And we see this all across the southern border of the United States. Here in Florida, we're actually taking action. And I don't know about the other states, but I would imagine that they're taking action too, either pro or con. So yes, there will be pain. I would hope that measures to alleviate that pain will, as much as possible, be taken. Why? Yes, they are illegals. But these are not, for the most part, these are not people who came in here to do harm. They're running away from something. A lot of pain in there too. But the problem is this: we are a country of law and order, and there is a legal way to get into the United States. We're not trying to stop immigration. We're trying to control it so that it comes in a proper order, and so that we don't get overwhelmed. Some of the southern states have been expressing alarm, and there's been things that's just pressed, not just the southern states, to help alleviate them. The Democratic administration, their idea to alleviate the pain was to ship the immigrants to other places around the country. That delays the pain. That doesn't remove it. And it's kind of questionable as far as ethics and law and so forth as well. So, yes, there's going to be pain. And I would hope, like I said, I think we need to take measures to alleviate that pain. We can't stop it, but we might be able to alleviate it to some degree. So when you are talking about millions of people, the pain is unavoidable. We need to do this, but it should be done with as much mercy as can be mustered, as that we can bring to bear on it. Yes, some criminals came in. A lot of criminals came in. And to some extent, it's been described as an invasion. Now that gets a little carried away because it's not a invasion is a military term, and this has not been a military invasion. Yes, a lot of criminals came in. Yes, a lot of drugs have come in, and even weapons have been smuggled in. But that's a whole lot different than a military invasion. And so people have gotten carried away with that. But on the other hand, it's not totally false. And by that I mean this. When you have illegals coming in such a mass order, it does bear a resemblance to an invasion. And it must be brought to a stop. It must be brought into so it is brought in under a legal umbrella of immigration. Does immigration law need to be reformed? Probably. and this would be an opportunity to do it in a responsible way. We've tried it many times in the past. Congress has got to get together on this and come up with something that would work. And it really needs to be bipartisan, because if you had come up with a law and something that the Republicans who now control Congress can get behind and vote, but the Democrats are opposed to it, someday the Democrats might be in control of government again. And if they are, they can go back in and change that back. And we can go back and forth on that. Whoever's in power, they get their way. Well, that just creates more confusion, more pain, and we don't need that. So we need some bipartisan thinking here. And I think there should be room. Should be some kind of middle ground that the two sides can get together on and make this work. I'm not a politician, so I don't know if that's possible or not, but I would hope it is. There was when I grew up, it sure seemed that they could find compromise and move forward, but those days may be long gone. But I surely hope they are not. So we need to do this with mercy. It was the left that created this mess. There's no doubt about that. They can deny it all they want, but the facts are there. They made it. They did everything they could to make this happen. They had their own agenda, their own reasons. That's another issue. Now, they created the mess. Now we, that is conservatives, must clean it up. And it's not an easy task, and I don't envy the people involved in it. But I have given my say on it. I have my opinions, and I'm willing to change them if people can prove me wrong or come up with a better solution, a better idea. I'm willing to listen. But right now we are in a big mess that needs to be cleaned up. And I think President Trump has taken the first step. I think there's a lot more steps. I think that Florida's taking a step in this, and the counties are taking a step. Other states need to step forward as well. And then maybe we can get up and get some kind of a consensus as to how to address this problem. So that's it for today. I tried to do this as fast as I could, and at the same time give some kind of depth to what I was saying. So you might have to play this back a few times just to get the whole thing. But we are in some quick changes going on right now, because we had 4 years of laxivity, if you want to use that word. We've had non-government. We've had obstructionism. We've had this. They've devoted, for 4 years, our government was devoted to something that never happened. They call it the insurrection. And it was not an insurrection, it was a riot. And compared to other riots around the country, it was mild. The only thing that made it of national importance was that they invaded the congressional building, which is a national, protected by law. And people who were involved in that should be arrested, should face crime for that, jail time for that. And so the pardons that have gone out on that recently, I do not know who all got covered by that. But I'm pretty sure they got dragged through it pretty well. So they have suffered for what they did. They were rioting. And so they suffered for that. But our government, instead of doing things and doing what they're elected to do, wasted government time. They wasted taxpayer money, everything. And so we now are in a mess. And President Trump is starting out, and he's going after it and trying to clean it up. And it's going to be a lot of action going on. It's going to keep us on our toes, so to speak. And so I'm going to try to keep up with it myself and impart my own opinions on it. The thing is that as we go forward, we want people to support whatever action is taken. And when I talk about people, I'm not just talking about us conservatives. We need a long-lasting solution. And as I said, if it's just a solution Republicans can get behind, when Democrats get in power, then they're going to do away with it and come up with their solution. And then when the Republicans get back in power, the Republicans will do away with their solution and come up with Republican resolution, and it will just keep going back and forth. And that's not a recipe for success. That's a recipe for disaster. We need to get together, as I used to do back when I was a kid, and talk, sit down to talk, a table, find common ground, and start there. And then you can start building things out and get that common ground going. Something that will stay, not just during Trump's administration, but whoever comes into power after him, then they will continue on with that same level there. And maybe they might build it up here on the left. Maybe they'll build it up here on the right. But the thing is that there will be a ground, a level here that they can build. And hopefully they'll get used to working together again and maybe come up with building it up like that. Miracles do happen, folks. We pray for that. So that's it for today. If you, by the way, if you are enjoying this program, or maybe this is your first time, I'd like to invite you to subscribe right down below here. The whole idea is to you subscribe to this channel, TNR Independent Books, and you get Christian news and views, which is what you're watching right now, and you get another podcast called Becoming a Published Author is Fun. That is where I give out free advice, freely given, and most of it will cost you little or nothing to implement. And it's advice that you can use immediately, or if not immediately, as soon as you are able to do so. Most of it is immediate. It also encourages me. I'm new in this whole idea of podcasting, so I encourage you to subscribe and encourage me in the doing of it. And if you do that, I promise you that I will do everything in my power to create episodes that will inform, encourage, and inspire you. And so that is it for today. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode.